to Austin FC with some sad news with Austin FC as they were defeated 2-1 away to Sporting Kansas City on Sunday night. Austin FC were actually leading 1-0 in the second half of this one, but a red card showed to Alex Ring would prove disastrous. 10-man Austin FC couldn't prevent Sporting Kansas City from tying the match, and they couldn't prevent them from ultimately winning the match. Jorge, what
Yes.
did you make of Alex Ring's sending off and the match overall?
Uh, I think throughout the game, he was playing very, very rough. I hadn't seen him play that.
It should be no. This is his first career red card
Yes.
ever at any at least professional career. He's never had a red card.
Right.
This is actually kind of uncharacteristic from him to be this
Yeah.
much of a loose cannon as he was out
Yeah.
there in the second
Yeah.
half.
He's usually a pretty calm. Not I wouldn't say calm, but pretty controlled player out there. But yesterday's game, he was very out of control, doing unnecessary tackles. I mean, I'm not sure if he was trying to intimidate players or if I'm not sure what was going on in his head, but he really put Austin in a bind when he was called for that second yellow and the red. Not only in that game, but that's going to carry over to the next game against the Galaxy in Los Angeles against a red hot Galaxy team. So he's really putting them in a bind, and be interesting to see how Austin reacts. But really, even before Ring got sent off, Sporting Kansas City forwards were just shooting shots all over the place, especially that young kid Busio. He was getting
Lucio was
harassed
immense.
all over the place, and he was still getting his shots in. Uh, and Russell played very well as well. He was pretty instrumental in putting up, getting the tempo up there. So Kansas City played super well, but if you want to rescue something, is that Austin FC, even 10 men down, almost held their own. They weren't pushovers. It was still very difficult to score against them. Uh, I mean, the decision to start Stroud ahead of the other goalkeeper for Austin FC looks like a genius move now
Yeah,
because he was
Stuber's been
tremendous.
immense. He has been so good. Had some huge saves in this match.
Yeah, so no disrespect to Tarbo, but he's played very well. Stroud played very well. Gallagher got his first goal. We had some of us in the media and other places had speculated that he was going to get a shot ahead of Hosen.
Did you like
Uh,
that decision to start Gallagher over Hosen?
yeah, but I think I think he got tired towards the end a little bit, probably because he was. I mean, all the offensive guys were getting harassed by the defense of Kansas City. So he looked tired in the end, and I think he even got hurt towards the end. So, uh, but but it worked. I mean, he got the score at the 7th minute. It's just a different dimension. They're both different players, and it seems that Hosen is more of a he doesn't attack for a strike, or he doesn't attack as much. He's more
Definitely likes to drop deep, try and combine with the midfield, which
correct. Yeah,
isn't necessarily a bad thing with how Josh Wolf wants Austin FC to retain possession. But yeah, it's
right.
definitely a different look that you get with Gallagher. I know on the broadcast, John Strong, the FS1 commentator, said that Josh Wolf wanted to push the verticality. So it kind of makes sense if you're looking for verticality that you would go with Gallagher as opposed to Houston. Arush, I want to bring you into the conversation here. I know you are kind of more of someone who maybe views the world glass half empty as opposed to glass half full. So I'm going to ask, maybe it's something that caught my eye during this match. So after the red card, Austin FC switched to, I think you call it a back five.
Five,
Basically had
yes.
5 defenders. You had 3 midfielders in front of those 5 defenders. And then Rodney Redes was kind of the lone man up top. Do you think that was a bit too conservative? I know it's you're on the road and Sporting KC are flying at you, and you do kind of, you have that 1 goal lead, so maybe you have that desire to sit back and try and not concede. But do you think they were maybe a bit too negative to go to that switch to the back five?
Yeah, I think as soon as Ring was shown the second yellow, they switched to that. At that moment, it was a bit too conservative. I was just thinking the same thing. They just started playing too safe. It would have made sense if Kansas City had equalized or gone ahead, then you don't have much to lose, so you go out there and play. That's what Austin FC did. But when they were 1-0 up, they just wanted to defend the lead. Too conservative, but it does make sense what Josh Wolf was thinking in the moment.
Yeah, I think I understand. Yeah, exactly. I understand that why you'd have that, that desire to just kind of bunker in and just kind of hope for the best against a team that's just absolutely flying against you in Sporting KC. But yeah, it seemed to really invite too much pressure. David, what were your thoughts on it? You had the sunglasses on earlier. I don't know if you could see the match through those sunglasses, but I just want to make sure. I just want to get your thoughts. What did you think about the match overall, and also that decision to go to the back five after Ring was sent off?
Well, I think Austin FC did a great job um, with what we have. Uh, the fact that
There was no
till the
Kakuta Mane. I
till the
thought you would.
80th till the 80th minute, right? We had the game. I mean, we were controlling the game most of the time, and then all of a sudden, the red card happened, and it never happened before to this player. So that means that the coach was never. I mean, Josh Wolf was not ready for that. So he did not have a plan, and he put a defensive plan with. That's exactly what Kekuta Mane came for, right? That's what I thought. Hey, let's have one forward. Let's get Kekuta Mane in it, and let's and put everybody back. And Kekuta Mane played way back too. So that would be the solution for that problem with the red card. Like,
Yeah, I think it
that's
did actually, leaving Redis as the lone forward up top. I think that if you had someone like Kakuta Mane, fresh legs to pair up top with Redis, I think that really could
yes.
have helped. Maybe take off one of the defenders, take off one of the midfielders, but you need that outlet. You have to have some kind of outlet when you're
But
sitting that deep. Otherwise, the opposition can just flood everyone forward at you.
yeah, and I keep looking at the subs, and they were not. They were defensive subs. You're not gonna put Cascante there to 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 replace forward. I mean, I thought was when you look for being defensive, you're gonna pay for it.
Yep.
So there are two things. There was not ready. There was no plan B here, obviously, and plan C did not even work. So I'm still very worried about the last third because the last third is not there. Like we get great passes for the first goal for Gallagher. I mean, yes,
Another great pass from Stroud. Yeah, another
Yeah.
another.
amazing
I
assist.
mean, amazing assist there. But we like Cecilio Dominguez ineffective. So we don't have. I mean, really, it's that's what I'm talking about. We need somebody like Kekuta Mane. I'm not saying we need Kekuta Mane, but we need a couple people more aggressive, more aggressive forwards that can play back when they need to. And we need to give him the chance. I think that's what we're lacking too. And the Oklahoma and the people in Kansas, they were like, oh, thanks God for this red card, right? Because they were feeling that the pressure.
That
Like
Yeah,
that
I
is
actually.
true.
we were controlling the game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hor.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. That I was looking at the crowd reactions and stuff from the few angles that were shown, the fans looked worried, and so when Ring was shown the red card, it was a sigh of relief that they were kind of finally break through. I mean, they were so close and on so many other occasions, but even Austin FC had their chances. They didn't have as many, obviously, but like Pochettino hit the crossbar. I mean,
He was my man of the match for me. I thought
yeah, he
Pochettino
he
was
played
He was
very
outstanding.
very
great. Yeah.
well. He had really good chances. It just didn't fall in for him. Colmanich played probably one of his lesser games. I think he wasn't as effective. I don't think that this time around. But then like Kansas City is a lot more physical team and a lot faster team, and so I agree with David that I thought it was curious that they put in Redes and Pereira, first year MLS players out there in this kind of a environment instead of bringing in Jimenez and Mane instead. I mean, they brought Jimenez afterward once Ring was out because they needed a presence there, but they really should have put experienced guys instead of these two. I love those guys. They play very well and everything, but it just wasn't the time. They should have put money in there because he knows he's played against many of these guys already, so he knows their tendencies and has a little more experience. And I think the outcome would have been, I think, far more different if that would have happened. But again, like David alluded to as well, Josh Wolf, again, he's a rookie coach too. I mean, he's never faced this kind of situation before, and I don't recall if the two substitutes were before or after Alex Ring got red carded, but I think it was just a unfortunate timing is that they got in and then Ring got red carded. But it's one of those things you live and learn. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, because Ring got red carded, he's now unable to play against the Galaxy. So that's going to put added pressure to whoever's going to replace him.
Would you make any adjustments in terms of like tactics and formation in this Galaxy match, considering Ring's not going to be available?
I would not. I mean, it'd be interesting to see who they're going to start instead of Ring. There's the option of starting Hector Jimenez. He has started in midfield before, and he's got a lot of experience. Or they could go with Pereira, Fagundes, and Pochettino. Fagundes got a lot of experience, but he was also pretty ineffective in yesterday's match. And so to have Pochettino and Pereira in there again, first-year NFL guys, MLS guys, in the environment of a red-hot Galaxy team with Chicharito, it's going to be a tough match. We might get to predictions later, but I don't anticipate it.
Arush, you're rubbing off on everyone on this show. This is a real bummer here.
I think he's agreeing with us.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, exactly. I want to build on what you said, David. I mean, I also don't want to pick on the manager too much, but Austin FC did not have plan B. Alex Ring was just example in front of us. He was shown the first yellow and he was, as Jorge pointed out, too aggressive. And we could see the second yellow coming from miles out and he wasn't taken off. And same thing with Romania. He wasn't having a good game at all. The first yellow that he got, he didn't need to make that challenge. He looked out of place with, Buzio running into the space. And Nick Lima was also taken out for a spin by Buzio every time he came forward. So back line struggling a lot. Still, we didn't see any change until it was too late. Yeah, we do live to learn, but these are the things that you need to know and be ready to make those changes. I was talking up Alex Ring a lot against Colorado. He had a great game.
He's been great all season. I don't really know what got into him in this match.
I think honestly, it's just a fluke game.
Yeah. I mean, for so many players, Jorge, it's just a little hard to digest.
Yeah,
but, entire back line, apart from Beasler, I think was poor for me. Stewart was great. He kept Austin FC in the game so many times, and hard luck on Kansas City's part. They hit the post. They were missed clear headers. I mean, we were in the game not because we were playing great. For a time, we were in the game just because we were getting lucky.
And Beasler.
True.
Yeah, and Beasler, yeah.
We had him. I mean, that was amazing. All the saves that he made. I mean, just wow. Yeah. Crazy. I mean, he keeps it in the game. So we need to take care of him. I think we need to take care of our goalie. And I mean, this is a lesson. Like you learn from these falls, right? You need to learn from this fall. That should not happen again.
Yeah, and it should be done.
Beasler pretty much. Beasler pretty much proved that he's a second captain. So. I anticipate he's going to be the captain for the Galaxy as well. So, pretty important guy.
Yeah, I think Cascante came on, had a great game. I mean, good game at least. But I don't understand why Romania wasn't subbed off at halftime. Why couldn't Cascante came on early? I don't understand why Ring wasn't subbed off. It's just those plan B. I mean, obviously he was our playmaker. Ring, drops back, makes those passes. He was struggling with those too. So we should be ready with the plan B next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to
go ahead, David.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna follow a strategy that's more attacking, like with like Bielsa, like Guardiola.
Bielsa, okay.
No, I'm saying with that type of formation, when when teams like Leeds or teams like Manchester City have one player less, that they play better.
Yeah,
Like they can
that's
play
true.
better. They able to manage, to keep. They don't even you don't even feel Manchester City with one player. They feel like they're still dominating the game.
Yeah,
So
I remember plenty of games where a 10-man
Leeds just
team
beat
against
City
11
with
looked
10
much
men
better. Yeah,
just this
Yes,
season.
yes,
Yeah.
they did.
yeah,
So,
that's true.
better example than that,
yeah.
we cannot find. All right. Yeah,
Okay, guys.
sorry,
So
Eric, I was interrupting
oh
you.
no, I love it. Anytime we could get Leeds, Bielsa, yeah, I'm always
Ay,
down.
pero comencemos con la discusión más importante que nos conteste, que es el partido de Austin FC con Kansas City, que fue un partido importantísimo, con el entrenador más experimentado de la MLS, Verne, que estuvo asustado. No fue un partido fácil para él hasta la roja que vimos. Cuéntanos, Jorge, ¿cómo vistes el partido? ¿Qué nos faltó? ¿Qué le faltó a Austin FC para mantener un resultado que lo tenía en las manos hasta el minuto de la expulsión?
Pues al ver el partido y analizarlo bien, Sporting Kansas City es un equipo que se le conoce por atacar. Y desde principio a fin no dejaron de atacar. Lo único que sucedía es que no entraba la pelota y a veces el ángulo estaba mal, pero fueron muy peligrosos. Yo pienso que pudieran haber anotado aún más si no hubiera sido por Brad Stuver, que jugó un partido excelente como portero, pero necesitaba ayuda y no la tenía, ¿verdad? Y vemos que después, con tanta presión, nunca dejaron ir el gas, ¿verdad? Siempre estaban atacando y atacando y atacando, y pues hasta el fin sucedió, ¿verdad? Hasta que Alex Ring fue expulsado, que es la primera expulsión en su carrera en MLS. Así que no es algo que nosotros como la afición de Austin FC deberíamos realmente preocuparnos. Jugó un partido muy rudo, se me hizo muy extraño, ¿verdad? Se estaba no estaba jugando muy bien, que digamos, en control, Alex Ring, y pues muchos faules, y como ya sabemos, las dos tarjetas rojas.
Un caballo
Eh,
loco, diríamos, Paico. Era un caballo
sí,
loco que
fue
ya
un partido.
lo veías desbocado, como decía nuestro amigo Arush, y que te
Ajá.
extrañó mucho que no lo hayan sacado antes, ¿no? Con ese
Sí,
tipo de
sí,
actitud.
se me hizo raro, como que no notaron que estaba fuera de control Alex Ring y pudieron haberlo sacado antes y poner a un Héctor Jiménez o alguien así, ¿verdad? Para controlar un poquito más el temperamento, pero al fin no sucedió, y pues eso fue lo único que necesitaba Sporting Kansas City para amplificar más la presión, y pues al fin cayeron los dos goles de la derrota de Austin FC. Pero aparte de eso, a pesar de eso, creo que jugaron un partido muy bien, ¿verdad? Creo que está comprobando que Austin FC no es un equipo fácil para ningún contrincante. Van a tener que trabajar muy duro para ganarle a este equipo. Y pues hay que recordar también que era el cuarto partido que jugaban fuera de casa, ¿verdad? Y pues parece que era uno de los lugares donde más afición había, que también pues estaban apoyando a su equipo, y pues obviamente eso quiere decir que estaban echándole la garra a
No,
Austin
le echaban
FC, y les
ganas, como
afectó.
tú decías, le echaban ganas y se notaba, porque cuando jugó el partido con
Sí,
Colorado, se notaba que la Verde, el Anthem, todos los fanáticos de Austin FC se escuchaban mucho más que los locales. Este
esta
no
vez
fue el
no.
caso.
Sí,
Este no
esta
fue el
vez no.
caso. Y se escuchaba claramente el apoyo que tenía el equipo, ¿no? Siempre me llamó mucho la atención la organización que tiene el equipo
Ujú.
ah, de Kansas. Y se vio, ¿no? Tiene al entrenador más experimentado de la liga. Y se
Sí,
notó que hizo los cambios correctos cuando se merecían, cuando Austin FC hizo los cambios incorrectos, correctamente los hizo
Bernie.
Bernes. ¿Qué piensas, Sebastián? ¿Cuál fue tu impresión?
Pues sí, nos bajaron de la nube a todo Austin, se nos acabó la racha de victorias. Antes de empezar a criticar, quiero destacar algo de Josh Wolf que me gustó. Ya sabemos que no ha repetido un solo 11 por una razón o por otra, pero esto habla de la competencia interna y que todos están jugando bastante bien. Nos hace caso, señores, parece que Josh escucha todos los jueves Fútbol en Vivo y mete a Gallagher como titular. La verdad es que a mí en lo personal me encantó porque Hoesen no estaba teniendo, bueno, va pocos partidos, pero no estaba teniendo su mejor temporada y Gallagher aporta muchísimo. Strauss, nuevamente, una calca casi de los 2 goles contra Colorado y el fin de semana pasado le pone un pase, la mete Gallagher y se va arriba el equipo, ¿no? Eso quería resaltar, darle ese voto de confianza a Josh Wolf y bueno, sí, ya lo dijeron, Kansas es un equipo que ataca mucho, que es su particularidad, saber atacar, saber cómo llegarte y se vio, ¿no? Creo que hubieron muchos errores en defensiva que tiene que checar el FC, ya lo dijo Jorge, pudieron haber sido 4 o 5 porque Brad Stuber fue un monumento, señores, la verdad es que hay que agradecerle, sin embargo, igual y aquí me van a linchar toda la gente de Austin, creo que el primer gol es su error, porque es un tiro de esquina que le rematan en el área chica, esa es zona del portero 100%, creo que se pudo haber evitado, también hay que hablar que el primer gol cae cuando ya lo dijeron, se va expulsado a Alex Ring y se cae el planteamiento del equipo, porque Austin FC, a pesar de ganar o perder, siempre había tenido la posesión del balón, porque eso juegan, y este es el primer partido también que le dominan la posición, que le quitan la pelota, que lo pasean un poquito, que le están llegando y que no tiene más tiempo el balón y más posibilidad de hacer el estilo de juego de Josh. Por lo mismo, la expulsión de Ring le quita cartas, tiene que hacer cambios defensivos para tratar de conseguir el resultado o al menos irse con puntos a casa. Y bueno, lo segundo yo creo que ya fue circunstancial, ¿no? Si te están llegue, eventualmente una pelota va a entrar. Sin embargo, ya lo dijo Jorge, creo que el equipo se ve bien, ¿no? Creo que hay que decirlo, con un jugador menos, que es tu capitán, que es una parte importante de la columna vertebral del equipo, era lo que sobre la mesa iba a pasar. Lo que me preocupa, no sé cómo lo ven ustedes, es la siguiente jornada sin Ring contra el Galaxy, porque vamos, ya lo dijo, puede entrar Héctor Jiménez, pero si no, creo que hay que replantearnos el 4-3-3, también jugar con un 4-4-2, porque no sé si vaya a entrar Pereira, Fagundes y el Toto es un mediocampo totalmente ofensivo. Ahora, enfrentándote al Galaxy va a ser muy peligroso porque tiene hombres como Dos Santos, tiene un hombre como el Chicharito que va a ser un dolor de cabeza, entonces creo que tendría que sentarse a pensar qué tan bueno sería meter ese mediocampo o poner más hombres atrás, o no sé. Me preocupa demasiado la expulsión, sobre todo por el partido. Aquí se pierde puntos, pero bueno, todo sirve, todo se aprende y esperemos que Josh Wolf siga buscando ese 11 que nos dé los primeros lugares de la Conferencia Oeste.
Sebastián, excelente. Gracias por ese énfasis que tienes en agradecerle a Wolf por lo que hizo y por lo que está haciendo. Y se demostró en la cancha. Solo quedaran 20 minutos para demostrar que Austin tenía el mejor récord como equipo nuevo, como equipo nuevo. Si no es por la expulsión, obviamente, no se sabe, obviamente, pero hubiese sido distinto el resultado sin esa expulsión y como algo que conversamos anteriormente, no estábamos preparados. El equipo no estaba preparado para esa expulsión. Definitivamente buscar aguantar el resultado nunca resulta, o 99% de las veces no resulta.
Oigan, perdón que interrumpa, ya sé que hablé mal de la defensa, pero sí me gustó Nick Lima, creo que dio un partidazo, el mejor que ha jugado desde que debutamos, no sé cómo lo vieron ustedes.
No, sí, Lima sigue siendo un sólido, en su posición lo encuentro muy, muy sólido. La pregunta es ¿por qué ponen a Cascante? ¿Por qué pones a Cascante y sacas a un delantero? Entonces, ese es el punto, porque hay que aprender de ese error. Los errores, no había plan B, y no había plan C tampoco, porque obviamente el que tenía el plan era Kansas, que hizo los cambios perfectos, hizo ataque. Bueno, vamos ahora que tenemos la oportunidad, vamos a atacar. ¿Y qué hicimos nosotros? ¿Qué hizo el equipo? Fue buscar defender, mantener un resultado cuando era imposible, cuando efectivamente, a pesar de que había un control de la pelota durante la mayoría del partido, se veía como era muy bueno el control, pero nunca se veía en el último tercio, no se veía el ataque, nunca vimos agresividad, y ese era el momento perfecto que decíamos, era para poner a Kekutamane ahí de delantero, un jugador que baja y que sube, y el resto atrás, ¿no? Todo atrás, pero él que sube y que baje, pero para mantener por lo menos la agresividad que no se vio. los últimos, cuando ya después de la expulsión, fue un ataque de Kansas por todos lados. Y si no es por el arquero, nos mamamos unas dos más. Perdón la expresión, pero fue obvio que no estábamos preparados para eso, y ojalá que se tome como una lección. Sí, había cosas muy positivas del equipo que se mantuvo hasta ese momento. Tenemos que aprender que tenemos que tener una mejor plan B en el caso que un jugador cometa ese error, o no dejar que se cometa ese error. Sáquenlo primero, saquémoslo primero, que hagamos un cambio. Lo mismo con Romaña, que atrás también deja muchos vacíos, dejó muchos vacíos durante el partido, pero bueno, el partido del día sábado contra Los Ángeles va a ser crucial. Entonces, ¿somos capaces realmente de mantener la misma estructura y mantener el mismo estilo de juego contra este equipo?
Pues sí, Seba levantó un punto muy importante, que ahora que ya no van a tener a Alex Ring y dependían, ahora vemos que demasiado de él, ¿verdad? Porque es un muy buen jugador, obviamente, pero ahora que ya no lo van a tener, sí va a ser muy interesante qué alineación van a poner. Porque si ponen lo que están estableciendo, que es un 4-3-3, no tienen un buen reemplazo para Alex Ring. Este, cuando se perdió a Ben Sweat por la temporada por la lesión, teníamos a Kolmanich y pues no hubo una baja en ese departamento. Pero ahora con Alex Ring en un partido, quizás, como mencionó Seba, quizás va a ser una buena oportunidad. Tienen el tiempo para poner una nueva alineación y darle un look diferente al Galaxy, y a lo mejor eso les va a dar suficiente para sorprender, ¿verdad? Pero con el hecho de que tienen a Dos Santos y a Chicharito con tanta confianza ahorita, ¿verdad? En casa, se les va a hacer más difícil sin Alex Rain. No creo que vayan a poner a un reemplazo como él, así que si van a poner, como dice Seba, un 4-4-2, va a tener que ser con Héctor Herrera como el cuarto de los mediocampistas, y poner a Stroud y a Cecilio al frente, y a ver cómo les funciona, ¿verdad? Stroud al momento está jugando muy, muy, muy bien. Eso quiere decir que va a poner en peligro no poner a Gallagher, como le gusta que se le pronuncie el nombre. Pero si no ponen a Gallagher, puede que también esto los lastime en su ofensiva. Así que no sé si van a tratar de jugar por un empate, pero va a ser interesante esta semana la
No hay que
preparación que
jugar por
van a
ningún
hacer.
empate. Hay que jugar siempre por la victoria.
Oh, sí, 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 yo sé, pero
Eso es lo que pensamos. Pero
perdón.
ese es el punto. O sea, vamos a jugar por la victoria, pero entonces también tenemos que jugar un poquito más agresivo, ¿no? Tener,
Sí,
pongamos a que Cuta, vámonos. Yo creo que si nos escucharon la semana pasada con Gallagher, que nos escuchen ahora.
sí, sí,
Pongamos a que
es
Cuta
muy cierto,
también.
es muy cierto.
Pongamos un equipo más agresivo, y que ponga mucha presión y cansar al equipo. Esa es la idea, ¿no? Bueno, eso es lo que le quiero decir al coach, pero bueno, no sé si nos vaya a escuchar.
Sí.
Eh, pero bueno, chicos, entonces tenemos que cambiar un poquito porque se nos acaba el tiempo nuevamente con Austin FC. Es el equipo más popular de Austin, como ustedes saben, y el próximo partido va a ser el sábado a las 2:30, si no me equivoco,
Sí, 2:30.
en Los Ángeles, contra el equipo de Chicharito. Okay,
So
go for it, Arush.
the question is, Pep Guardiola says Premier League is the most important trophy that they want to win. Champions League is a nice one, but Premier League is the most important one. Still, he makes 9 changes against Chelsea in a match. If they had won that match, they would have gotten that most important trophy. So, what is it?
Well, it's just like, I don't know if you know this guy from Mexico. His name is he's the Tigres coach. Um,
Oh,
Jorge, what's his name?
Tuca Ferretti.
Tuca
Yes,
Ferretti.
Ferretti.
Tuca Ferretti said, "I don't care about international. I only want to win the
the domestic
the
league.
the Mexico League, right?" But he always ended up being in the final of the Libertadores Cup. He was always and then he wasn't in the World Cup, the club World Cup, right?
Yeah.
At the end, they beat Palmeiras.
Yeah.
And that was the same guy that say he didn't care about those tournaments.
So they just
It's like-
downplay if they
He's
Watch
just
lose.
talking.
You
He's just
care if
talking
you
just
win,
about
then
winning.
all of a
Mind
sudden it means
games
it's
with
a-
everybody else, just like
Yeah.
Tuca Ferretti is.
Yeah, Tuca Ferretti say that. So that's the same with. I think he got influenced by, but
Yeah.
obviously the most important thing for Guardiola is the Champions League.
Hey, come on. I was the one who said we have to talk Chelsea.
You did. You
That's
did.
true.
I
You
did.
did. Only so
We
you
used
could
to-
say that they were lucky. That's why you wanted you gotta. There's a little
No,
asterisk by that.
No, my point was when they were struggling under Frank Lampard, we used to talk about them almost every single
We did,
episode. And
yes.
yeah, and
I
now
remember.
that they're doing so well, I was like, it hurts a little, Eric.
I mean, that's true. Like when people do good, nobody talks about them. You know.
Yeah.
It's sad. Yeah,
It's
it is
like-
kind of. Yeah.
I mean, and it's an amazing journey that Tuchel has taken Chelsea.
Yeah, it really is a cool
Isn't it
story.
amazing?
to
I
be
mean,
honest, yeah.
in less than a
yeah.
year, right? Since March.
That's
only
why
we have-
nobody's
Yeah.
talking about Frank Lampard anymore. I mean, he was a legend. He was the legend of the club, and he
Yeah,
got
he
And I
fired.
follow plenty of
nobody's
Chelsea
talking
people
about him.
on Twitter that were outraged that he got sacked. So
Yeah,
like,
those
Oh.
guys aren't talking.
Every-
anymore.
no
everything
one,
is
I'm seeing
justified.
no one regretting that decision.
And I
now.
asked this question, like, what more Thomas Tuchel has to do? Why did he get fired from PSG? He got them to their
Yeah,
first
that-
ever final. I asked this on the show, and now they just fire him, get Pochettino, and they're not even winning League One.
No.